Hello, my name is Ben Lovegrove, and in this video I'm going to read a section of the CAA Safety Sense Leaflet number 3, Winter Flying. The leaflet has been reproduced here in video format with the kind permission of the CAA. To download a copy of this or any other in the series to print off or store on your device, please visit www.caa.co.uk/safetysense. Introduction. The purpose of this video is to advise pilots and operators of aeroplanes, helicopters and microlights of some of the problems they may encounter while flying in winter. Departure. A. Remember that taxiways and aerodrome obstructions may be hidden by snow, so ask if you are not certain. B. Check the cabin heater and demister operation as early as possible. Be prepared to use the DV window. C. Taxi slowly to avoid throwing up snow and slush into wheel wells or onto the aircraft's surfaces. Taxiing slowly is safer in case the tyres slide on an icy surface. Stop well clear of obstructions if there is any doubt about braking effectiveness. D. Allow gyro instruments extra time to spin up when they are cold. E. You may consider using a soft field takeoff technique. If so, be sure that you are fully aware of recommended procedures. F. Ensure that no carburetor ice is present prior to takeoff by carrying out a 15-second carb heat check as in Safety Sense Leaflet number 14, both during power checks and before takeoff. Ensure the engine is developing full power before taking off. En route. A. After takeoff on a slushy or snowy runway, select the gear up, down, up. This may loosen accumulated slush before it freezes the gear in the up position. B. Check conditions with flight information or monitor Volmet, and turn back or divert early if the weather deteriorates. Don't wait until you are in a blinding snowstorm or covered in ice. C. Carburetor icing is one of the worst enemies. The chart shows when it is most likely to occur. See also Safety Sense Leaflet number 14, Piston Engine Icing. In the absence of dew point information, assume high humidity when the ground is wet, even dew, in precipitation or fog, or just below the cloud base. D. Carburetor ice forms stealthily, so monitor engine instruments for loss of RPM, fixed pitch propeller, or manifold pressure, constant speed propeller, which may mean carb ice is forming. E. Apply full carb heat periodically, every 10 to 15 minutes, and keep it on long enough to be effective. As a guide, carb heat should be applied for a minimum of 15 seconds or longer if necessary. The engine may run roughly for a short period while the ice melts. F. Use carb heat as an intermittent on-off control, either full hot or full cold. Do not use carb heat continuously or at high power settings unless the handbook or flight manual allows it. At low power settings, e.g. descent, the application of heat before reducing power and its continuous use while power is low is recommended. During a descent, when using small throttle openings, with full carb heat, increase RPM periodically to warm the engine. Remember, carb hot air increases fuel consumption. At low RPM, use full heat, but if appropriate, cancel it prior to touchdown in accordance with the manual or handbook instructions. G. If the aircraft has de-icing boots, it's a good idea to cycle the boots from time to time, even when ice is not expected. This prevents the valves in the pneumatic systems from sticking. H. If you are flying just above clouds to stay clear of airframe icing, remember that cloud tops will quickly rise as you fly. Across high ground, towards a warm, cold or occluded front, or towards a low pressure area. If you fly into the top of clouds, the concentration of water droplets is often greatest near the cloud top, and ice could build up quickly. I. Airframe icing is most frequently encountered within convective clouds, cumulus or cumulonimbus, where the build-up of ice can be very rapid. In these clouds, the icing layer can be several thousand feet thick, and a dramatic change of altitude will be required to avoid icing. It is better to avoid flying through these clouds if you can, either by turning back or changing your route. Icing can also occur in thin-layered clouds, especially during the winter. During the autumn, winter and spring, an extensive sheet of stratocumulus may frequently form just below a temperature inversion, with the temperature in the cloud between 0 and -10 degrees Celsius. Such clouds may be only 1 or 2,000 feet deep, but within the cloud layer ice may build up quickly. The icing can be avoided by descending below the cloud, provided there is sufficient height available above the ground, or by climbing above the cloud layer, but remember paragraph H. J. If you see ice forming anywhere on the aircraft, act promptly to get out of the conditions. Don't wait until the aircraft is loaded with ice. Ice forms easiest on thin edges. As the tailplane generally has a smaller leading edge radius than the wing, it means that if you can see it on the wing, the tailplane or propeller blades will already have a heavier load. Pilots have reported that ice builds up 3 to 6 times faster on the tailplane than the wing, and up to double that on the windshield wiper arm. On some aircraft, the tailplane cannot be seen from the cockpit. In fact, the pencil-like OAT probe is often the first place ice forms. If ice does form, keep the speed up. Don't fly too slowly. The stall speed will have increased. The manual or handbook may give a minimum speed to cope with the increased drag and weight due to ice build-up. K. The stall warning system may be iced up or otherwise affected. It is in any case designed and calibrated to provide indication of wing stall, not the tailplane. L. If ice has formed, drag and weight are increasing while the climb performance is decreasing, so you can't climb to get above it. High ground may prevent a descent. M. Tell ATC so that others can be warned. N. Snow, which is already frozen, will usually only stick to an aircraft if it has a high moisture content. If it does so, treat it like ice. O. Freezing rain can occur during the winter months either at or near the ground or in a layer at height. It occurs when warm, moist air moves into a cold region. This may produce a layer of moist air with a temperature higher than 0 degrees Celsius above a much colder layer with a temperature below 0 degrees Celsius. Precipitation forming in high cloud layers melts into rain as it falls through the warm air. When it falls into the sub-freezing layer and encounters a cold object, it forms a solid layer of clear ice over it. This clear ice will build up very quickly and is difficult to shake off. P. Freezing rain is the most severe form of airframe icing. It can be encountered in flight up to altitudes of 10,000 feet, or it may occur on the ground or when flying close to the ground. The ice may form rapidly on an aircraft, whether it is parked outside or in flight. If freezing rain is encountered in flight near the ground, it is best to land as soon as possible. Or if the severe icing is encountered at higher altitude, descend, if possible, into a warmer layer below. Q. If you are in trouble, tell someone clearly and in good time, and make sure the transponder is on and set to code 7700. The emergency services can receive a transponder return much better than a primary radar return. R. Ice forming on an aircraft can cause odd vibrations and noises. An aerial iced up may begin to vibrate and can fall off. Don't panic. Remember, aviate, navigate, communicate. S. Monitor any autopilot and be ready to disconnect it. It may have been surreptitiously altering the trim to compensate, possibly, for the effect of an ice build-up. That's the end of this section of the CAA's Safety Sense Leaflet number 3, Winter Flying. If you have any additional tips or experiences you would like to pass on, then please post a comment below. Subscribe to my channel and click the bell to be notified of the next video in this series. Please share this video within the general aviation community so that pilots and student pilots can benefit from the advice.